Hey VC, Mick back. This time with the great thread proposed by Front to Back Vinyl, and it's three artists that span across 3 decades. So let's start with a classic from 1969. We have Captain Beefheart and his Magic Band, Trout Mask Replica, the avant-garde classic, featuring the fantastic skills of Zoot Horn Rollo and tenor Jimmy Simmons, the Mascara Snake, and Rocket Morton. A double LP on the Straight label. Okay, Zappa was still going in the 70s and certainly lent his love to support keeping members out of the Magic Band out of jail. And the Magic Band repaid us all by releasing this album, Clear Spot, which comes in a unique plastic sleeve, which definitely would have been unique for the 70s. This album, a little bit more bluesy than Trout Mask Replica, but still kind of crazy. Zoot Horn Rollo still on board, and Don Van Vliet leads the band as he always did. The big hit here would be Bug-Eyed Beans from Venus. Great album with unique packaging. And we continue on the Reprise label. Beefheart, still going in the 70s, and here he is with Doc at the radar station. We now have John French, drumbo on slide guitar, also bass and drums on a couple of tracks as well. That's the crew there. This one's from 1980, and Captain Beefheart and the Magic Band entered that decade. This is the US version, and it's on Virgin, the Richard Branson English label, which we do know Branson was responsive for a lot of progressive signings during the 70s and early 80s, so no surprise he would keep up with Beefheart. Okay, well, let's just stay in the 80s for a bit. One of my all-time favourite bands, Sonic Youth, and here we have the sister album, and yes, it is on SST. That's that version there. Thurston became probably a little bit more acceptable to the broader mainstream on this album. Schizophrenia was the first track I heard, and it helped me understand some level about schizophrenia, and this cover was withdrawn, and that was the track in question. Of course, with all Sonic Youth albums, the artwork's fantastic. There's your inner, and some nice custom sleeves for SST. This is when SST was the go-to label in the US. Fantastic cover of Hot Wire My Heart, the crime song. Okay, Sonic Youth is still going hard into the 90s. And here's their classic washing machine. There's the inner. There's the record collector in Thurston. There's the delectable Kim. Key track for me on this is side 4, the Diamond Sea. Comes with nice custom inners. On DGC. There we are. Thurston, One of Us. And some Sonic Youth propaganda. Fantastic double. Certainly an album that takes you away to another world. And Sonic Youth, thankfully, kept going into the 20th century. And here's their March 2003 recorded, released in 2004 album, Sonic Nurse. Once again, we continue with the fantastic artwork. More Gordon, Ronaldo, Steve Shelley still involved, joined by Jim O'Rourke. This proved that over that 20-year period, from the mid-80s to the mid-2000s, they were at the very top of their game as the premier indie avant rock band in the world. Now, they moved on a little bit from DGC, and there you go. There's their custom labels. This album was published by Sonic Tooth. Okay, while we're in the 2000s, let's quickly transform to our next artist, which is Jeff Parker, who played in Tortoise. He also played in the Chicago Underground duo. Jeff Parker joined Tortoise in 1996, and on this album, which is from 2001, he played bass and guitar. Comes with another fantastic outer sleeve, which of course for record storage is a bit painful. Because I live in the subtropics, means I do have to separate the record from that sleeve, otherwise we'll end up with vinyl cancer. There's the inner there, still quite artful, especially when you're looking at something that's been released on vinyl in 2001, and there we go, custom labels, which is what we're chasing. This one's from 2015, and this is when Jeff Parker takes on the new breed, and this is called Sweet for Max Brown, and features some very popular names that we do know, namely Mackay McCraven, Rob McZurek, and his wife Ruby Parker, on the fantastic International Anthem label, which was just starting to come in its way in 2015. Nice information sleeve, so everything you need to know about Max and the musicians on this, and of course the International Anthem stock inner. Okay, and that puts us through to this decade, and here we are. This one is on the Eremite label. So Eremite Records are a key provider of avant-garde jazz from the 90s onwards. This time Jeff Parker is joined by the Australian Anna Butters on bass, Josh Johnson on alto saxophone and pedals, and Jay Bellerose on drums and percussion. And it's called Mondays at the Enfield Tennis Academy, and it does involve their jam sessions being recorded. Luck is a cut by Kevin Gray, masters are by Joe Lazizzi, and you do get some custom labels. And there we are, Jeff launching his name solo, but really just as a leader. Okay, thanks Front to Back Vinyl for coming up with such a fun thread, and talk to everyone soon.